Ahoy there, my friends. This is episode 1 of the Heavenly Bodyz podcast. I am your host, Lisa Feynman, and my character within the Heavenly Bodyz storyverse is the Strong Mermaid, a reincarnation of the Little Mermaid who is here on a quest in the little season of the earthly realm to find the chosen ones, special heroic souls who have come here in the little season to redeem themselves. And I am here to offer my services to them through the Heavenly Bodyz training platform. Now, this app is where you will find all of my content and courses, including my initial program called Heaven's Gate, which is a foundational biomechanics restoration program. If you are a chosen one who is in pain, who is not able to walk, run, or move in some way without pain, this course has been lovingly and expertly designed for you. And it is designed to start your journey back to your God-given birthright. Our Creator did not design us to live in pain. And so my first course offers some techniques to move you back into God's blueprint for the physical body. And my guest on today's show is one of my absolute best friends. Her name is Jade Brown. She is a wife, a homeschooling mom of 4, a homesteader, esthetician, and owner of Grace and Rose soap. She's also just one of my most favorite people to chat with. Both Jade and I free birthed our babies around the same time. And so our conversation at one point does bring up the Free Birth Society. However, I decided to edit out what was said because I want to record a separate podcast to discuss free birth and the current controversies surrounding the Free Birth Society. We recorded the episode before the co-founder of the Free Birth Society, Elise, experienced a very tragic loss. Her child was stillborn, and that has brought a lot of new attention, a new wave of criticism from the mainstream regarding whether or not free birth is a responsible choice. There's a lot of tragedy and complexity involved with this story, and so I want to treat that discussion of current events with greater sensitivity. So when you hear me say I might edit out the whole section about the Free Birth Society, I did in fact edit all of that out. So again, I'll share my thoughts on what is going on in a separate episode. While talking to Jade, she and I both mention our mutual friend Topher a few times in the interview, and we are referring to the great Topher Gardner of Biocharisma. He has an awesome podcast, which I will link in the show notes. So if you don't already listen to it, be sure to check out his work. Hopefully I can have him on as a guest sometime soon. I also reference an episode of the Innerverse podcast with Gardner. And in that episode, he interviews my friend Elise Frosch, and that episode is linked in the show notes as well. Chance and Elise are both wonderful people, and I would love to have them on the show in the future. So hopefully they will agree to come on as guests, and definitely go check out Elise's episode. It's really great. This is part 1 of my interview with Jade. I get interrupted and am requested to go change a poopy diaper. So I ended the recording, and I will post the second half of my talk with Jade inside the Heavenly Bodyz app. There is a special section for subscribers on the app where they can listen to the full-length episodes of these podcasts. So if you enjoy the first part, please do consider subscribing to the Heavenly Bodyz app. There is an option for a podcast-only subscription. So if you're not interested in biomechanical restoration, you can subscribe for only $3 a month and hear all of the full-length podcast episodes. Now, this is the first part of the first episode, and Jade and I talk about all different kinds of topics. We cover free birth. She shares a bit about the products that she makes and the inspiration behind them. We also talk about the gemstone soaps that Jade and I are collaborating on. So there is a link in the show notes as well to Jade's website, Grace and Rose Soap. And be sure to use the discount code The Strong Mermaid, and you can receive 10% off your purchase. So without further ado, here is episode 1, part 1, with one of my favorite women in all the realm, the fabulous Jade Brown. It is my honor, my true honor, to welcome to my first official podcast, certainly my first interview that I've done for this podcast, Heavenly Bodyz. And I am thrilled to be welcoming my very, very good friend, Mrs. Jade Brown, who used to be my neighbor, actually, of all things, back when I lived in Kabul, Missouri. And Jade is just one of those people that's, in my opinion, lovely to be around, to enjoy the company of. She is always a delight. I miss the days when I could drive 15 minutes down the road and pop in at her gorgeous homestead and talk about all kinds of wild topics, including birth was something she and I talked a lot about when we first became friends, because shortly after becoming friends, found out that I was with child. I was pregnant with my daughter, Mika. And Jade was with me on that journey of pregnancy, was a close friend and confidant and neighbor. And Jade was also present at the birth of my daughter, which was a tremendous honor. I still remember you holding me when I was in the birth pool. And I remember you had come up and you were one of the people that was in the room and just leaning on you, and these strong, reassuring hugs you would give me during my contractions as I'm moaning in the birth pool. You were an amazing presence to have there. And I'm so glad that you were a part of that story. And my daughter's placenta is buried under an apple tree on your property. That's how you know you're real friends, is when you bury people's placentas for them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And you are also the owner of Grace and Rose Soap Company, which I would love to talk to you about also. Welcome, Mrs. Jade Brown, my beautiful friend, to the Heavenly Bodyz podcast.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. Yeah, your birth was amazing. I can't wait to talk all about it if you want to. And it's just, that makes me feel so special to know that you just remember my presence there, because there's just so much going through your head when you're in birth. So for you to even remember that I was in the room, thank you. That's amazing.
No, that's definitely one of the moments that sticks out to me, because I was just so happy you were there, and you were truly this really incredible, grounding, reassuring presence to have there, because I love you so much. And I know that you were in a state of just wanting the best for me, wanting the best for the baby. Like, I could feel that off of you. And that's the kind of presence you need at a birth, right? Would you agree with that?
Yes, total. And I was pregnant at the time too. So I think we were both just like, we can do this. Like, nothing is going to stop us. This is going to be perfect. And it was like for both of us. So yeah, just going into it with that attitude and being there, for you and having you there for me, it just makes all the difference, because we need each other.
Absolutely.
And I love you too. I'm so excited for all of the new ventures that we're both kind of starting.
Yeah, the timing has been really interesting and synchronistic, with both of us kind of launching our businesses roughly around the same time. And I would love to talk about, well, first, before we jump into talking about Grace and Rose, I would love if you are open to sharing a little bit about your own birth stories, because as you mentioned, you were pregnant at the same time, roughly, as I was. You were pregnant when you came and were at my birth with my daughter. And so maybe talking about that particular birth story for you and how that worked out for you, because we were both on the free birth journey and the wild pregnancy free birth journey. And I would love to hear your thoughts on that, and also how it compared to previous births, because you're such an amazing legend of a mother. You have 4 children. You have multiple data points, whereas I only have my singular birth experience. So I would love to hear from someone who's gone through that initiation 4 times.
So this time around, my free birth was inspired by all of the legendary women out here who free birth. I mean, it was amazing. I'd never heard of it until we moved to Missouri. And I started talking to some of the women out here, and they told me about free birth and wild pregnancies. I thought, like, I had had home births. So I thought, oh, I'm very natural. I'm very crunchy. Well, I had no idea that free birth was even an option. I had just heard so many wonderful things. I was like, I'm going to do that, because my home births were great. I had 2 home births, but you always have somebody telling you what to do when you have a midwife, like telling you when to push. Let's move to the bed. Let's move here. Just stuff that you wouldn't have done if it was just you. So this time around, it was just me. And I caught my own baby and I knew exactly when to push. I knew exactly, like, it just like my instincts kicked in. I knew how to unwrap her cord, how to bring, it was so much more natural. The whole thing, I didn't have anybody measuring my stomach or checking for all sorts of things that I don't necessarily think are issues anyway.
Yeah.
I remember, so with my first pregnancy, they had me drink that stuff to test. I thought I was being
the
very
glucose test?
Yes, they had me drink that. I mean, it was gross looking, right? It's all just dyes and whatnot. But I didn't know that I could say no, so I drank it. And I puked that night. And then my baby stopped moving for 2 days. And I broke out in a rash all over my hands. Like, what was in this? So I learned after that, like, I would say no. And then with my home births, I always said no to that, but they still made me prick my finger and like check for diabetes. I still had to kind of play their game.
Yeah.
And this time around, there was none of that. It was so peaceful. It was the best pregnancy because I just knew, I trusted my body. I knew that everything was going to be fine and that I could do it.
Yeah.
I think you're such a legend because you did this your first time around. It took me number 4 to get there. Whereas you're like, first baby, I got this. And you did. So it was amazing to watch because you birthed right before me. And I was like, all right, she did it first baby. Like, I got this. It was just such a cool moment in time.
Yeah. Definitely.
And now our little girls are like, almost the same age. It's really sweet to see.
I know. I love it. And I just feel that's part of the, I don't know, just a synchronistic sisterhood that I've felt with you in our friendship, where just they were just signs that we were connected. Our daughters are connected, and I've definitely felt such a strong sense of sisterhood with you for a long time. And I was thinking about that this morning, about how I'm a Gemini ascendant in my birth chart, and which is twins, represented by twins. And I was like, oh, maybe that's why I always want to have like a partner in crime, buddy along with me. Like, I always want, I don't know, I always kind of tend to find friendships where I feel like I get to experience that twin energy a little bit. Yeah. And that's why I'm so glad that you agreed to come onto the podcast, because I need somebody else with me. I'm not a solo mission kind of person as a Gemini ascendant. I don't want to be by myself.
Yeah. It's crazy too, because we both were like Orange County girls who then somehow ended up in the middle of Missouri.
And which is, again, part of our synchronistic sisterhood in a way, because like we're from the same area basically in Orange County. And so I knew all the places that you knew of when you were mentioning where you're from, and which is always a cool thing to share with somebody. But then to end up from here, I'm back in Orange County now, but from here into like 15 minutes away from each other in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. Like, that's hilarious.
Rebirthing. Like, how does that even happen?
Well, as our mutual friend Topher likes to say, location is frequency. So there was some very unique and potent frequency drawing us into that area, or drawing us into that area perhaps for the purposes of ushering in these souls, these precious, beautiful babies that are coming into the earthly realm. Was there something in your previous, like, was there a defining moment for you when you knew, I want to do a free birth, I want to have a wild pregnancy? Like, was there some catalyzing moment that happened for you, or was it something that just, like, as you learned more about it and had more experiences, it just became clear to you that that was the way forward?
I think it was our move to Missouri, to the middle of nowhere, and me thinking, there's no way that I am going to find a midwife out here in the middle of nowhere that I'm gonna like, or that,
Mhm.
I just didn't even want to put effort into it. I'm like, there's
Yeah.
no way I'm gonna find somebody. So
Yeah.
it was that mixed with, I don't want anybody else at my birth. Like, I just didn't want anybody else at my birth besides my husband. And I
Mhm.
mean, our kids they were asleep, but they woke up in the middle of the night because we told them we had the baby and they had ice cream. Like, it was a big celebration.
I love it.
But yeah, I think that was it. And just hearing how many of the ladies out here who have done it, and they're like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's awesome. And then
Mhm.
getting on and seeing like Yolanda Norris Clark and the Free Birth Society and all of that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you know you wanted to free birth?
I listened to a podcast of all things with a good friend, Elise, Frosch, who a family fun guy, and she was on the Innerverse podcast with the lovely Chance. And the whole episode was her telling about her birth story, her free birth story. It was her telling her story that got me thinking about it, because she talked about the Free Birth Society,
Mhm.
whose course I think both of us went through that coursework.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it's so interesting too, just as a quick aside. Have you followed what has happened with their situation and like
No, I saw Yolanda Norris Clark had moved back to the States for a little bit. I don't know anything. What's going on?
oh, really? Oh, let me give you the tea. Uh, Maybe I'll edit that whole part out. The detour into talking about Free Birth Society gossip.
I
Anyway.
I think well, it's super interesting too with like Christianity and how like astrology and horoscopes and
Mm,
all that is super bad, right? Like, at least that's
mm,
what I was raised to believe.
mhm.
But then the stars are God's creation. Like, the
Yeah.
sun and the moon are God's creation. Does he not want us to admire it, to like try and figure out, you know, what is this? Why did he put this here? What is it
Yeah.
for? But it seems like they just want you to have your head down and don't look up there. Don't learn about that stuff. I mean, that's
Yeah.
bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, that's interesting. So,
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of accusations that get thrown around of like blasphemy and heresy and witchcraft if you start talking too much about like astrology or herbs or reincarnation or any of these
right.
certain
Or a
topics.
pretty crystal. You're like, oh, this
Yeah.
is a beautiful amethyst, but crystals are bad. I'm like, but God made it. Like, God
Yeah.
made this beautiful crystal, these beautiful stones, but we're told that that's witchcraft. It doesn't
Mhm.
make any sense.
Yeah.
And then the stuff that you get from the doctor in the white coat that truly is witchcraft.
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's fine. That's good stuff.
Pharmakeia. Yeah.
It's so upside down right now.
Well, I think maybe it's an earthly realm weakness that we experience here when we are in this realm of polarity, is like just this tendency to go from like extreme to extreme to extreme to extreme and just kind of get knocked back and forth between,
Totally.
you
And
know,
then you're in the middle again.
I feel pretty similarly that I'm in a season of reconfiguring and reassessing and just rebuilding my
Right.
perspective on a lot of things. I almost put hashtag we're not witches on the stories that I posted about our soap making venture, because our text conversation was talking about, moon phases and astrology, zodiac signs, special timing and dates to create herbal gemstone infused soap bars. And so, yeah, I almost put hashtag we are not witches because, I think some people think
Right.
that those activities or those interests somehow are not of God. But yeah, I think your point is so important that like God made it. And
Right.
interestingly, yeah, as I looked more into Leviathan, which is something we'll jump into in the later part of this podcast, I want to circle back to it. But interesting that, in the Bible, it talks about God made Leviathan. And there's also a lot of interesting gravy that I came across, which I will share in a little bit. But I want to talk about first the gemstone soaps that is not witchcraft. It is just lovingly and intentionally crafted in harmony and synchronicity with the Heavenly Bodyz, these soap bars. And Jade very graciously agreed to work with me on creating these gemstone soaps. And we currently we've poured two, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the third one we're planning for. And the Rememerald gemstone soap was crafted during Gemini season. And we're using visible, what's known as true sidereal, which is like visible placement of the sun in certain constellations. So instead of a equal division between the signs, they're using the actual positioning of the signs in the sky, which is one way to interpret it. There's lots of different ways to interpret what we see in the celestial sphere. But yeah, that was during Gemini. And it was also while I've been working on, or when I launched the Heaven's Gate course on my app, which is about biomechanics. So I thought that aligned nicely with themes around Hermes, who is the messenger of the gods. So certainly a good runner and has good biomechanics. And also an emerald was in the Mermemerald soap. So that was our first one. And that one really, I wanted to be as a limited edition for the platinum circle of members on the app. Jade is among the platinum circle. She's on the app too.
Yes.
And so that was our first venture. How was the process for you, Jade? Was it?
Oh, it's so much fun. I
Yeah.
mean, that truly is a mermaid bar because it has, it's got the spirulina and the kelp and the pearls. I have so much fun making all of these bars. And then adding the gemstones is just even more special and fun. I think God made all of this sparkly, shiny stuff for us to admire. I love it. I just ordered rubies for the next bar. I'm so excited for them to get here. And then I'll put them out in the sun to charge and the moonlight to charge because there really is a huge difference. I don't know if many people know this, but if you have like a crystal, say an amethyst or whatever, and you just haven't charged it in a while, if you put it outside for, I like to do 3 days, but you can just do overnight and then bring it back in. I swear it's so much more sparkly. It's so much more pretty afterwards. It's just really fun. I love working with all of this really beautiful stuff to make these bars, and the molds that we're using are just gorgeous. They're so special. So the ruby bar is going to be really cool. This is going to be my first translucent bar that I'm going to make. I'm a little nervous too because it says that there could be like flames that are completely like you can't see them while you're making it. So I have to be careful. I don't want to light myself on fire. I'm going to put my hair back.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome. Yeah, please take all the safety precautions to make sure. Yeah, because a Leo Apollo sun soap with rubies is probably going to have a lot of fire energy around it. So got to keep keep that under control.
Yeah, that's funny. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
There's no fires.
Yeah, please. No.
It's going to be fun.
I have a lot of fun too. And like getting to write the descriptions and think about the themes that relate to these signs and archetypes. And so I love that this is our mutual work project that we get to do together, is creating these soaps. And I would love for you to share some of the other things that you've worked on for your Grace and Rose soap company, and maybe some of the story behind some of the other things that you've made on there.
Okay, well, my company is all organic, handmade soap and products specifically tailored to moms and babies. This is because 10 years ago, when I had my first baby, I couldn't really find anything that I thought was acceptable. Like I would get gifted baby products, baby soap, baby lotion, whatever. And then I would flip over the back and look at what was in it. And I'd be like, I can't put this on my baby. Like that was so sweet of them to gift me all of these presents. But ultimately, it all ended up, I either gave it away or I trashed it just because it was like, this stuff is poison. So now I'm just crafting very natural, all organic, super nourishing products for moms and babies, and I just have fun doing it. It really is just kind of a creative outlet for me. I also have a huge garden with flowers and herbs, and I love being able to use what I grow.
Mm-hmm.
So every once in a while, like I'll do a really fun bar that's got the dried flowers on it, or I'll infuse something with chamomile or calendula, whatever I've got in the garden. It's just fun. It's a great creative outlet, and I love it. I want to offer natural products to people who are searching for that kind of a thing
Yeah.
because I couldn't find any. I also used to suffer from really bad eczema and psoriasis. I just went through like, oh my gosh, I need to get rid of all of the poison, all of the toxins, really reset. That included cutting out a whole bunch of food, switching to completely natural diets, getting rid of all chemicals. So it just kind of like went hand in hand. I'm like, if I'm cleaning up my diet, I'm going to clean up everything I'm putting on my skin. And then I was just like, this is fun to make. Why don't I offer it? So now I just offer, pretty much I'm making it anyway. So I offer the extras on my website. So it's just really fun.
Yeah. And I love your products. I am such a huge fan of the Petals and Pearls serum that you made. It's
I'm so
amazing.
happy you like that one. I love that one, but I ended up eating it all. I know I said that it was for your face, which it could, but it
Definitely is for your
tastes,
face. Yeah.
yeah, it tastes so good too because it's a glycerite that I just started like doing drops of it. And
I do that
my,
too. I put it on my
yeah,
face and I sneak in a few drops too.
so my bottle's gone. It's lovely. I just harvested all the roses and
Mm,
did the vegetable glycerin, and it turned out so beautiful, such a bright red color. I'm
yeah.
really in love with it. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like it. It's one of my favorites.
It's made a huge difference on my skin. I was struggling with this flaky skin on the sides of my nose and a little bit sometimes on the corner of my mouth. And like that started postpartum. I had a little bit of like dryness sometimes before I had the baby, but it seemed to become really pronounced after my daughter was born. And I tried the tallow products that like have become popular. I don't mean any kind of shade against tallow moisturizers, but for me personally, it almost seemed to make it worse. And my
Same.
skin got so dry. And I'm sure there's like hormonal things going on too, and stress, like other factors. But then I switched to a different moisturizer. What really made a difference, long story longer, is that I started using the Petals and Pearls serum before this other moisturizer, which was helping. But what I feel like really made a huge difference was when I started using the serum that you made, and I got rid of all that flakiness and redness that I was having around my nose, completely went away. And yeah, and my skin is so much better. It made such a huge difference.
So
Yeah.
happy to hear that. That's amazing. I have some other ones too that I've been playing, some different herbs I've been playing with for skin. So maybe I'll come up with a few new products as well. I'm just
Yeah.
having fun playing with it. But roses are so beautiful and they carry such a high
Totally.
frequency,
Totally.
which is why I was like, if this is a really high frequency flower, like we should be doing something with it.
Mhm.
I imagine it would raise our vibration at least a little bit, just
Oh,
like wearing
definitely.
wool or linen would, right? They say those
Mhm.
are healing. So I don't
Yeah.
know. That was my mindset behind it, was anything high vibration. I'm like, let's use it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think it works. My face definitely feels more high vibrational.
oh, yay. That's
um,
awesome.
because I don't like to wear makeup like a foundation or anything like that on my skin. For a while though, because I had so much flakiness, it almost made it stand out more to try and cover it up. So I was like, I'm not trying to put any kind of makeup on my face, but it's just so nice to feel like my skin looks healthy again because it was really not
Right.
looking healthy for a while.
And makeup is just so bad for you. I've kind of stopped wearing it. I went through and I bought all of the natural organic makeups, but they just don't look good and they drip down my face. And I was like, there's really no point. So now it's funny if I do put on makeup, it's really weird. I feel like I'm putting on like a mask or a face.
Yeah.
That's just not me. I guess it's just but I used to be the type of girl that couldn't leave the house without makeup.
Yeah.
So now I hardly put it on at all. It's really strange.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah. Again, talking about evolution and lifestyle and values and just the
Yeah.
shift that occurs. I think if people want to wear makeup, I mean, I'm not trying to tell people what to do.
Not to.
Yeah,
I
not to
love
or to
makeup.
wear it.
I think it's so pretty. I mean, I love all things girly and fun. I
Yeah.
do love it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, a lot of it just isn't really good for you. It's
Really?
not good for your skin. So I guess that's my problem.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll develop some makeup products at some point that are natural and they work.
Right?
I think the thing that I struggle with, I love eyeliner. I think whatever keeps the eyeliner from running down your face is what's toxic, because all the non-toxic ones can't seem to stay in place, but like the ones that are bad for you, they'll stay put. They won't run down your face the way some the natural products will. Yeah.
I put on a natural one today. I bet it is all probably down it's 95 degrees and I'm outside sweating. So I'm like, I hope it's not down, but I didn't put very much because I was like, I do not want to look like a raccoon. But yeah, the poison ones definitely work better. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I feel like my eyes have gotten a lot more sensitive though, where I used to put eyeliner down here. Now, if I try to put any eyeliner, it almost hurts because I just put eyeliner on every single day.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I'm like, I'm getting feeling back where there was no feeling before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's also, I think our body, I can definitely relate to that. I feel like my body is similar in that way. And that like, yeah, it's kind of like it rejects it now. It's like,
Right.
Yeah. Especially if it's like one of the more chemical laden makeup products.
Yeah. Man, it's getting really windy here. I am wondering if we're going to have a thunderstorm or something. We'll see.
Oh, wow. That would be interesting.
If you hear it. Do you hear it?
I don't hear the wind. It sounds okay to me. If you need to go inside, if it gets crazy out there, obviously, I don't want you to get blown away. So if you need to move location or go inside or say bye-bye, that's fine too.
Just let me know if the wind gets bad. If the wind is too loud, I'll move inside somewhere.
Okay. It sounds good to me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think, I love hearing about your products and why you made them. I love what you're doing with Grace and Rose soap. I think it's such a beautiful offering to the community of moms out there in the world who are looking for something that is natural and good enough and clean enough for their babes.
Oh, yeah. And I have the free birth affirmations on there too. So if there's a mama looking for affirmations, maybe they're going to free birth or home birth or hospital birth, doesn't matter. I do have printable ones on the website. So even if you're not looking for product, you could still grab some birth affirmations, especially if you need a quick gift for a pregnant mama.
Yeah, that's such a great idea. Did you use affirmation at all during your birth?
I printed out a bunch of them from the Free Birth Society because I took that class. I just had them in the room with me. I had kind of just sifted through them a ton before I went into labor. But during labor, I didn't have time for that. I had such a quick labor. I was like in the shower and then here's my baby. I loved them. Like I had those thoughts in my head.
Oh, that's awesome. I know your birth was so fast. I couldn't believe how quickly it went. That's amazing. Because mine was not fast.
No, I know. I'm sorry. First births usually take a little longer, but yours was very long.
Yeah, it was super long. So yeah, I definitely had the time to think about affirmations and other things.
Totally.
But yeah, I love that. And I love that those affirmations are on your website. And yeah, there's so many great things for mamas and expecting mamas. So if you or someone you know is an expecting mama, please go check out Jade's beautiful website, graceandrosesoap.com.
Yeah.
And and if you want to use the discount code, The Strong Mermaid, you will be able to save 10% off of these beautiful, handcrafted, lovingly made with so much intention products that are designed for mamas and babies. And I have and use and love so many of your products. And so hopefully people will avail themselves of this beautiful resource to get these wonderful, wonderful bath and beauty products. And again, I seriously, I am so happy with what the Petals and Pearls serum has done for my skin. Truly, like, it's been awesome. So this is, yes, I love you and you're my friend. And also I love, I love the products that you're making, and they really have made a difference in my skin. So
thank you so much. I like so appreciate it. And I'm so happy to hear that. So thank you.
Of course. So yeah, so the Cancer Artemis Moonstone, I'll think of a better, more interesting name for it, but that one is curing and will be available soon. And then we're going to be pouring the Apollo Leo Ruby Gemstone soap, I think, on the new moon. So that's the new one. And this is, of course, we are in the midst of Leo season. So, and this is the Heavenly Bodyz podcast. So we're talking about the zodiac and how it pertains to those of us in the earthly realm with physical bodies, and navigating the hero's journey through graveled, crazy nonsense in the land of polarity. But we are in the season where I would say a certain archetype is said to have influence. And Leo season, the zodiac sign of Leo, is said to relate to things like loyalty and charisma, generosity, royalty, and courage. There's a lot of gravy about the Wizard of Oz in general, but that character, I think, has been imprinted on a lot of us, where the cowardly lion is in search of his courage, and how those things are connected. That courage is something that is related to Leo. Do you know, like, how into astrology are you personally, Jade? Do you think it's interesting? Do you find it horrible,
I find it really
blasphemy?
No, I think it's really fascinating. It's super interesting. I don't know a whole lot, but we just bought a constellation book so that we can try and look up at the sky and figure out what's up there. What does this all mean? Topher has told every one of us what we are according to the real sky, and not just the generic one. So according to what actually was in the sky when we were born, he told us all of our signs. And that was really fascinating, because my whole life I thought I was a Capricorn, and turns out I'm a Sagittarius, which then when I was told that, I was like, oh, so many things make sense now. And the same thing for my husband. Like, we're just like, whoa, he's spot on. So I do think there's something to it. And it's all just so fascinating. I love learning about it. Like, I could geek out on it all day long. I wish they would have taught us this in school. Like, I feel like I learned nothing in my public school education that was worth learning, you know?
Amen to that.
So.
Yeah.
So now, I'm homeschooling. So it's interesting. I get to pick out the things that we're going to learn. So obviously, the constellations, we're doing that right now, which is fun.
That's
and
so
then
cool.
The days of the week, like, why do we call the days of the week what they are? Oh, they all correlate to, I think it was different planets and stars and gods and whatnot. It's just so fascinating. All of the stuff is like right in front of us, but we've never been taught what it means or why it's the way it is. So what's the gravy? What do you got?
The gravy. All right, let's get into the gravy. For some reason, I became interested in looking into the character Leviathan. And Leviathan is mentioned in the Bible. Leviathan is also mentioned in the book of Enoch, which is an extra biblical text that is very interesting, to say the least. I took a screenshot of all the places where Leviathan is mentioned in the Bible. Psalm 104, he's mentioned. Oh, and Job chapter 41. They call him the king of the children of pride. And I had recently seen some things online, and then I went back and tried to find like the original video that I saw that was connecting Leviathan with narcissism. But there's like a bunch of videos, there's actually more than I would have thought when you just search online for people talking about this connection, a lot of people on social media have been talking about it. And there was this one video that I sent to you through Instagram where a woman is being exorcised of her demons in this church setting. And the pastor is talking to the demon inside of her and trying to get it to identify itself. And this woman says it's Leviathan.
Out of her body! Come out of her body! Now! Who are you? What's your name?
Leviathan.
Who?
Leviathan!
Leviathan. By the power and authority of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I command every spirit be wrapped with a 3-strand cord that's not easily broken. And go ahead and come out of her body. Come out of her body. Come out of her body. Now! All the way. All the way.
You thought it was really scary.
I started watching it. I was like, this is so freaky. I couldn't even watch. I can't do scary movies or like scary anything. So even just that clip with like the person's eye. No, it's okay. Like, it's so fascinating. And it's interesting because I don't know these names. Like, either the whole thing is fake and they told them to say these names of these demons, or it's real and somehow they're spitting out the right names. I don't know though. Like, it kind of seems fake to me because there's just so many people. And I feel like with an exorcist, like, I feel like that would be something that you would need to do maybe alone, like maybe with a pastor, like not a whole bunch of people watching. Because when you're with so many people, like, how would you be comfortable enough to just, it seems like it would be a thing where you have to be comfortable in order to get a demon out. Like, I'm like, well, in order to have a baby, you have to be comfortable. So maybe it's like the same thing as getting out of I don't know. It just seems odd that it would be in front of so many people and they would publicize it and be like, look at this, demon's gone. I only watched the first like 5 seconds and I was like, this is scary, turn it off. But it's definitely interesting. I'm like, I don't know anything about this stuff. There's definitely like crazy stuff going on in the world, and it's a great, like, why is this happening? This is definitely, could it be, you know?
Could it be demonic? Could it be from some non-physical dimension? Well, so I started looking into what is Leviathan. That got me thinking about, okay, if people are claiming it's like a demon and it's like affecting people, what? So I want to look into it. And I actually came across some interesting info and gravy out there about Leviathan. And yeah, like I was saying, because of this connection to pride and the children of pride, and the claim that narcissistic personality disorder is potentially a symptom of being influenced by this particular entity. But if we go to what's written in the Bible, it talks about a sea serpent. And what's interesting is that in the version of the Bible that we know of as the Bible with the Old and New Testament, Leviathan is described as masculine. The masculine pronouns are applied to the description of Leviathan. But in the book of Enoch, interestingly, Leviathan is talked about as a female sea monster who inhabits the abyss. She is the female counterpart to the behemoth, which is a land monster that has connection to the wastelands and deserts.
So it's interesting. It's saying that the one in the water is feminine and then the one on the land would be masculine. That's interesting. Because women, it's like the waters and all of that seems to always tie with the feminine.
Yes. And interestingly, the next chapter or the next section in the book of Enoch talks about like all of the various spirits associated with natural phenomenon, like rain and hail and winds and thunder and all of this. And they describe the spirit of the sea as masculine. And I thought that was really interesting.
So, and this is all in the book of Enoch. So the demon
Mhm.
that lives in the sea is feminine, but then the sea is masculine itself. That's so interesting. And there's spirits tied to the rain and the thunder and all of this. There's spirits tied to everything. That's so crazy.
Yeah. So that's part of the gravy that started to emerge with Leviathan and looking into the book of Enoch. Okay. So this is from the book of Enoch. Interestingly, the book of Enoch, it said, "Then I asked of another angel to show me the power of those monsters, how they became separated," because it talked about separating Leviathan and Behemoth and then like putting Leviathan in the ocean and Behemoth on land.
Interesting.
So he said, "Then I asked of another angel." So like Enoch's in heaven, in the heavenly sphere, and he is talking with angels and he's seeing things and they're telling him things, right? So just as a very general context of where this is supposed to be happening. So it goes on to say, "Then I asked of another angel to show me the power of those monsters, how they became separated on the same day, one being in the depths of the sea and one in the dry desert. And he said, 'You, son of man,'" talking to Enoch, "are here desirous of understanding secret things." I thought that was super interesting because in the quest to know everything, I think we really do ourselves a disservice, and like it's by design. And interestingly, connects to birth, which I think is one of those aspects of life that's meant to teach us to be okay with not seeing and knowing everything in advance and figuring it all out and knowing. Like, I don't think we are supposed to know what our child looks like before it's been birthed.
Yeah, and you can't plan it. You can't be on Sunday at 10 o'clock. Well, I guess you can now if you like schedule a C-section, but I'm in general, like it's a mystery.
Yeah.
That's really interesting though, like the desires of understanding secret things, because I want to know everything. I want to know like why is it the way it is? Why are we here? What is this place? And this is like, oh, you're just not supposed to know. I'm like, oh, interesting.
I feel like I'm trying to come up with like sayings and quotes to put on merchandise, like t-shirts and hats. And I think desirous of understanding secret things
right
is a good one.
Totally. That resonates.
Yeah. And so to continue, "And the angel of peace who is with me," so he's talking with the angel of peace, "said, 'These two monsters,'" meaning Leviathan and Behemoth, "are by the power of God prepared to become food, that the punishment of God may not be in vain. Then shall children be slain with their mothers and sons with their fathers. And when the punishment of the Lord of spirits shall continue, upon them shall it continue, that the punishment of the Lord of spirits may not take place in vain. After that, judgment shall exist with mercy and long suffering." So I thought it was interesting that it talked about Leviathan and Behemoth becoming food.
Yeah. That they're serpents and they're demons that are in the ocean. Like, is that what it is? They're demons? Leviathan? Or is he just like a monster? Because he's going to become food? Like, are we going to eat?
Yeah.
Theoretically, does man eat them?
I think maybe there is something happened where Leviathan was prepared as food.
But why would you want to eat something that has a bad frequency? Sorry, that's my brain.
Maybe it's, yeah, but I mean, it talks about it within the context of final judgment or like the judgment of the earthly realm, right? So maybe there's like, because it said something like, so that the judgment would not be in vain. Hold on, let me pull that up again.
What does that mean? Sorry, you got to talk to me like I'm a little kid. I'm like, I don't understand.
Well, I'm not going to claim to understand. I don't know what it means either. It says, okay, "And when the punishment of the Lord of spirits shall continue, upon them shall it continue, that the punishment of the Lord of spirits may not take place in vain. After that, judgment shall exist with mercy and long suffering. So it said that these two monsters are by the power of God prepared. So God made them, God created them to become food, that the punishment of God may not be in vain, that the punishment of God, so that they were only fed, they were prepared as food following a punishment that happened.
Okay. So
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just breaking this down with you in real time. Well, it's interesting that it says that the punishment of God may not be in vain. So if he didn't feed them, the punishment of God would have been in vain if they weren't prepared as food.
Make it make sense.
Yeah. Leviathan exists in that context. It's interesting because let me show you. This is all just like Wikipedia research. I am not claiming to be an expert on anything that I'm showing you. I'm just a curious mind exploring these topics. So this is Leviathan in the Wikipedia article. It talks about, it's also the name of a book by Hobbes, Thomas Hobbes, I think. Anyway, and Leviathan becomes a metaphor for the state, anyhow, or like the ruling state.
I can't help but think of the jeans too, like Levi. I don't know why. It just reminds me of Levi's jeans.
That's funny that you say that. I was totally thinking of Leviathan and the Levi's jeans logo, and like that maybe there's some sort of connection there. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. Levi Strauss was an interesting guy. And I think there's an old Levi's label from one of the original items made by Levi Strauss. And it's like, it talks about how it's made with white labor.
Oh, that's interesting.
I need to go change a diaper.
Okay. I can hang.
Okay.